assist the economic to assist to assist to assist the economic empowerment of women in Latin America and the Caribbean in the post-COVID-19 era, providing them with vocational training, entrepreneurial support, and services needed for them to build their own small and micro businesses. And today we're going to show you what we have done and what we have achieved with this project. We're also very happy to be joined by so many representatives from Taiwan's diplomatic allies, from Latin America and the Caribbean, women beneficiaries of the project, and of course, all the partners who have worked with us to make this project possible. Thank you so much. So let me begin today's forum by introducing some of our very best friends and VIP guests.
这本再随便讲2到10一下的话，然后请他们这个。
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll begin in just a few moments. Would you please take your seats and keep your mask on at all times? Thank you so much for your cooperation. 提醒各位贵宾，论坛呢，等一下即将要正式开始了，请您就座，也请配合佩戴口罩，谢谢。
对啊，其实可以先上去。
对，还没，等他。
他说总统快来的时候就可以。Diplomatic delegation.访团，等一下会一起进来吗？
对，我刚刚去问他们说会一起。
好，会在总统进来之前先进来。
应
该要这样。
因为那边都还是空的啊，所以巴拉圭。
因为那边会有一个巴拉圭的那个访团，他们应该要先进来。
应该会比总统早。
然后总统是最后才进来。
8国人都到。
好。
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now are the members of the diplomatic delegation of Paraguay, including His Excellency President Mario Abdo Benitez and First Lady Silvana Lopez Morera de Abdo. Let's give them a big round of applause. 各位贵宾，让我们欢迎巴拉圭访团，包含了巴拉圭阿布多总统以及第一夫人等贵宾一同莅临会场。Welcome to Taiwan, and thank you so much for joining us today. Please take your seats. Thank you. 提醒各位贵宾，我们论坛再过1分钟之后即将正式开始了，请您就座。Ladies and gentlemen, we'll begin in 1 minute. Would you please take your seats right now? Thank you so much.
如果总统待会合照的时候脱口罩的话，我们就
一起脱
就帮忙。
好，
谢谢。
要进来了吗？
到门口。
Ladies and gentlemen, President of the Republic of China, ROC Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen, has arrived. Please welcome Her Excellency, President Tsai. President Tsai and all the distinguished guests, would you please take your seats? Thank you. Distinguished guests and all of you who are watching online, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2023 Empower Women, Empower Latin America and the Caribbean Forum hosted by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MOFA, ROC Taiwan, and the International Cooperation and Development Fund, Taiwan ICDF. The COVID-19 pandemic has wreaked havoc across the globe, and we have seen a particularly huge impact on women and children in developing countries. That is why MOFA launched a very special project back in 2021 for Taiwan ICDF to assist the economic empowerment of women in Latin America and the Caribbean in the post-COVID-19 era, providing them with vocational training, entrepreneurial support, and services needed for them to start their own micro and small businesses. And today, we're going to show you what we have done and what we have achieved with this project. And we are very, very happy to be joined by so many representatives of Taiwan's diplomatic allies from Latin America and the Caribbean, and the women beneficiaries of the project, and of course, all the partners who have worked with us to make this project possible. Thank you so much. So firstly, would you please give yourselves a big round of applause? Thank you so much for joining us today. All right, and now let me begin by introducing some of our very best friends and VIP guests. If you hear names, would you please stand up and say hi to us? Of course, firstly, we have Her Excellency, President of the ROC Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen. Let's welcome President Tsai. And also, we have the honor to have invited His Excellency, President of the Republic of Paraguay, Maria Abdo Benitez. And First Lady of the Republic of Paraguay, Silvana Lopez Morera de Abdo. We also have Julio Cesar Ariora Ramirez, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Paraguay. Luis Alberto Castiglione, Minister of Industry and Commerce, Republic of Paraguay. Welcome. Rosana Maria Briceño, Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children of Belize and Chairperson for Spouses of CARICOM Leaders Actions Network. Welcome. Next, we have Kisa Melissa Peters, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Regional Integration, and the Diaspora, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Virginia Albert Poyote, Minister for the Public Service, Home Affairs, Labor, and Gender Affairs, St. Lucia. Welcome. Lasalian Philip, Junior Minister with responsibility for Youth Empowerment and Social Development, Gender Affairs, Aging and Disabilities, Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Welcome. Next, we have Fernando Antonio Escalante Arevalo, Vice Minister of Development of Micro, Medium, and Small Enterprises, Ministry of Economy, Republic of Guatemala. Welcome. Tatiana Lara, Presidential Delegate for Women's City Program, Republic of Honduras. Welcome. Catherine Taylor, Executive Director, Pan American Development Foundation. Welcome. Next, we have Zhao Xie Joseph Wu, Minister of Foreign Affairs, ROC Taiwan, and Chairman of the International Cooperation and Development Fund, Taiwan ICDF, and Timothy Shang, Secretary General of Taiwan ICDF. Welcome. And of course, all the representatives of Taiwan's diplomatic allies, international organizations, members and ambassadors of foreign missions here in Taiwan, and friends from NGOs, thank you so much for also joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please also give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much. All right, so to celebrate this moment, we'd like to start by having a family photo of all of you who joining us today. So our photographers, please come to the stage. Yes, everybody, please look at the cameras on the stage. 3, 2, 1. Let's have a photo together. Okay, let's do one more. Can you all thumbs up for the second one? Yes, thumbs up for the project, for the friendship between Taiwan and its diplomatic allies in Latin America and the Caribbean. Thank you so much. All right, it's been 2 years since MOFA started this very, very important and also meaningful project. And we are very happy to see that this project has been very, very instrumental in helping women stand on their feet and also start their own small businesses in 8 of Taiwan's diplomatic allies in Latin America and the Caribbean, including Guatemala, Honduras, Belize, Paraguay, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Haiti. All right, and to show you what we have done, we have a video for you. Let's have a look. 请看。
The relentlessness of COVID-19 and the associated border closure measures have greatly affected the economy and society of Latin America and the Caribbean, resulting in the difficult situations faced by micro, small, and medium enterprises. In particular, service industries such as tourism, retail, and food and accommodation have hit worst. The pandemic has not only drastically decreased employment opportunities and income for women, but also forced women to take on more household responsibilities. In Latin America and the Caribbean, women who lost their jobs due to the pandemic and lack of education and employability are now very much in need of developing new career skills or opening micro or small businesses to maintain their family livelihoods. However, financial institutions are often uninterested in these new clients due to risk considerations. Therefore, women intending to start businesses do not receive financing in time, demonstrating the problem of insufficient financial inclusiveness. In some countries, the interests of economically disadvantaged groups, such as women and youths, have received insufficient attention and are in dire need of supportive voices in society and international advocacy. To assist our allied countries in boosting their post-pandemic recovery, strengthening women's economic empowerment, and maintaining social stability, the Taiwan ICDF was commissioned by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Republic of China, Taiwan, to focus on our 8 allied states in Latin America and the Caribbean to promote this regional project. This project integrates the 3 major axes of technical assistance for women's employment and entrepreneurship, financial services and credit guarantees, and cooperation with like-minded countries to promote international advocacy for women's empowerment. Regarding technical assistance for women's employment and entrepreneurship, the Taiwan ICDF has guided the upgrading of local vocational training institutions, enlarged training sites, strengthened the capabilities of seed teachers, and collaborated to set up special vocational programs which improve women's employment skills and training. We also support startups by cooperating with local incubators to set up training programs, offering angel funds, and holding contests, thereby encouraging women to devote their time to micro, small, and medium enterprises and enlarge the scale of their startups.
Esta experiencia es muy buena. Hemos aprendido hay un lema que dijeron en la Ciudad Mujer que es emprender para crecer, y creo que todas las que estamos aquí queremos montar un negocio o alguna ya lo tiene.
Moreover, we also offer operations management, business consultancy, and relief packages to micro, small, and medium enterprises with management difficulties to help them get through the tough times of the pandemic.
The training will build a network of Maya women entrepreneurs who produce high-quality, innovative items that will be marketed through Belize's first Maya-created and controlled brand, Sheil. With your support, Sheil grew stronger in its business skills, increased the skills and incomes of Maya women entrepreneurs, and widened its market reputation.
In terms of financial services and credit guarantees, through our projects assisting allied countries, we plan and promote credit guarantee mechanisms and project loans devoted solely to women, and support local institutions in offering women the funds they need to establish and operate their businesses. For women's empowerment, we cooperate with international organizations and local groups, conducting workshops and seminars that promote mutual exchange, boosting our implementation energy, and promoting issues of women's empowerment. In addition, we are expanding our communication efforts promoting the results of this project so that we attract further investment from the public and private sectors and deepen the sustainability of this project.
This program has also opened doors for women such as myself so that I could be part of the development process, so that I could contribute meaningfully to my household, to the community and the country as a whole.
This project lasting 2 years will inject new energy into these women who are the pillars of a stable society. In the future, the Taiwan ICDF will continue to build on these foundations through various projects that bring prosperity to people from cooperating countries and hope to their lives.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for MOFA and Taiwan ICDF. It is yet again another testament to the fact that Taiwan is willing to help and Taiwan can help. Thank you so much. And we have another video for you. Next, we'd like to hear what the women involved in this project have to say. So let's have a look. 请看。
Would greatly like to give my appreciation for being a part of the Female Entrepreneurship Program. Where I learned new skills, I adapted them to my business, learning more about business management. With that said, I would also like to give back learning to my community. Having this great opportunity to tell Taiwan, thank you.
A través del cual pude adquirir asesorías para diseñar la ruta de acción para mis metas y sueños.
Al finalizar el acompañamiento de CANAC, pude también participar para un fondo de alivio por medio del cual voy a poder expandir mi taller, brindar más oportunidades de trabajo en Guatemala y pues seguir ejecutando esas metas que tengo para esta empresa.
J'ai beaucoup appris dans ce domaine. Je remercie le gouvernement. Ce projet, ça a été très bien pour nous. Et je dois vous dire que ça m'a permis de comprendre comment je dois gérer les données pour mon entreprise. Et ça m'a servi dans mon entreprise. Alors, sur ce point,
hace 10 años empecé mi negocio, siempre en el área de diseño. Es un negocio familiar. En esta ocasión hemos recibido fortalecimiento, cómo elaborar un plan de negocio y capital semilla pues, para recuperarnos de la pandemia a través de la misión Taiwán.
Quisiera dar las gracias al equipo de Red Mujer por haber tenido la oportunidad de realizar la capacitación. El conocimiento adquirido es invaluable, ya que con ello pude implementar dentro de lo que es nuestro negocio.
I want to thank Taiwan for the Women's Entrepreneur Program. It has been an amazing time of learning. I've been able to learn new accounting software. I've also learned new marketing strategies and how to actually manage my inventory better.
this program is funded by the government and people of Taiwan. Under this program, young entrepreneurs got skills in various areas such as marketing, legal matters, and also record keeping. For the young entrepreneur, this is a plus.
Through this grant, I've been able to successfully develop a business plan, and I have done a SWOT analysis of my business, which has been great. I have also been able to purchase raw materials and machinery that has improved the efficiency of my brand.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
I'm truly grateful for it.
Yes, thank you, Taiwan. And those were some of the thank you messages from the outstanding women involving in this project. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? We actually have 7 of them joining us today. So, can I bring them to the stage, ladies and gentlemen? Please put your hands together for the women beneficiaries of the project from Paraguay, from Guatemala, from Honduras, from Belize, from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, from St. Lucia, from St. Kitts and Nevis, from Haiti. Woo! Thank you so much. Thank you. You may return to your seats right now. And thank you once again for traveling long distances to join us for the forum today in Taiwan. And you do set a role model for a lot of other women who would like to embark on the same path. Thank you so much. And of course, Taiwan will continue to fulfill its responsibility as a member of the international community. Thank you again, and thank you for these very outstanding women beneficiaries of the project. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to firstly invite Zhao Xie Joseph Wu, Minister of Foreign Affairs, ROC Taiwan, and Chairman of the International Cooperation and Development Fund, Taiwan ICDF, to the stage to give us the opening remark. Please welcome Minister Wu.
Madam President Tsai Ing-wen of the Republic of China of Taiwan, President of the Republic of Paraguay, Mario Abdo, and the First Lady, Silvana Abdo, Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children of Belize, Rosana Briceño, Foreign Minister of Paraguay, Julio Ariola, Foreign Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Queso Peters, esteemed delegates from our partners in Latin America and the Caribbean, honorable legislators, excellencies, ambassadors, and honorable representatives. I should remove my face mask. Sorry. Now you can see my smile. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the Empower Women, Empower LAC Forum. This event demonstrates the progress that we have made in partnership with our friends in Latin America and the Caribbean to advance gender equality and contribute to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. We believe women are powerful agents of change. Empowering women is key to creating a more equal and sustainable future for all. That's why enabling women's equal participation has been central to our efforts to recover from the pandemic, tackle climate change, and build peace and prosperity. These efforts, in coordination and collaboration, Taiwan has been working together with its diplomatic allies and like-minded partners to assist young girls and women in exploring career paths and support small enterprises to expand and grow. Looking ahead, Taiwan will continue to share its experiences and collaborate with you. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and exploring how we can further strengthen our cooperation. Let's follow through on our commitments and act together to put gender equality at the heart of the post-pandemic recovery. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Minister Wu of Foreign Affairs, ROC Taiwan, and Chairman of Taiwan ICDF for your remarks. And just like Minister Wu just said, for today's forum, we could really witness the progress we have made with our friends and also allies in Latin America and the Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are also very honored to be joined by the President of ROC Taiwan, Her Excellency Tsai Ing-wen. Next, please join me in welcoming Madame Her Excellency President Tsai Ing-wen to the stage for the remarks.
巴拉圭阿布多总统阁下，以及夫人，我们贝里斯罗莎娜总理夫人阁下，同时也是妇幼特使及加勒比海共同体。
His Excellency Maria Benitez from Paraguay, First Lady from Paraguay, Her Excellency Rosana, Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children of Belize, and Honorable Kesa Melissa Peters, Minister of Foreign Affairs from St. Vincent, representatives from our diplomatic allies and international organizations, as well as women representatives participating in all kinds of projects, delegates from diplomatic missions, and ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, good morning. First of all, welcome to Taiwan, which is hosting the Empower Women, Empower LAC Forum for the first time. Thank you very much for joining us in this event. It is particularly meaningful to be able to gather with all of the distinguished guests who care about women's rights and interests today. I would like to share with you now Taiwan's efforts in gender equality. Taiwan has been committed to implementing gender equality. After many efforts and challenges, in 2019, Taiwan became the first country in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. On the political front last year, more than 40% in our parliament were women, which is #1 in Asia. And on the economic front, more than 37% of small and medium business owners were women, according to last year's numbers. So in many different areas, women are important backbone in supporting Taiwanese society. As a responsible member of the international community, Taiwan works with like-minded countries and international organizations to promote gender equality and women's empowerment around the world. Under the Global Cooperation and Training Framework, Taiwan has joined hands with many allies and countries to organize seminars across a wide range of gender issues. In addition, we also work with our diplomatic allies to help women upgrade their employability skills and provide advice and resources they need to start business, and further encouraging and supporting more women to realize their aspiration to run their own business. These programs bring economic autonomy improve working conditions, develop women's sense of achievement, confidence, and courage, and transform their lives. Our allies from Latin America and Caribbean participating in the forum today have much experience in working together with us to promote collaborative projects and generate fruitful results. I hope that this forum will allow us to share these experiences and jointly reflect on how to open up more international cooperation opportunities in the future under the current world economic situation to promote women's economic empowerment and revitalize and recover global economy after the pandemic. Thank you once again for your participation. Taiwan is willing to actively contribute to gender equality and hopes to contribute to work with you in the future on gender equality and women's empowerment. Thank you.
谢谢中华民国蔡英文总统。President Tsai, would you please return to your seats? Thank you so much. And just like President Tsai just said, that Taiwan has been sparing no efforts in creating a more gender equal and more diverse society. And Taiwan really realizes that women play a very important role in moving the entire society forward. Women power rocks, so that's why we're all here today, and Taiwan will also continue to share its valuable experiences with all its allies and friends in the world. Thank you so much. Once again, to President Tsai. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're also very honored to be joined by the President of the Republic of Paraguay. Next, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Mario Abdo Benitez to the stage to give us his remark. Please welcome His Excellency President Mario Abdo Benitez.
Madam President of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Dr. Tsai Ing-wen, distinguished guests, it is an honor for me to participate as President of the Republic of Paraguay in this forum. Taipei is a progressive city. It is my honor and pleasure to be here to witness how this country has worked so hard to achieve so successfully in terms of social transformation. I think this is a worldwide trend. It is also part of the UN SDG. Women empowerment is not an easy task because it takes men and women to work together to develop important programs in this regard. This is a dire challenge because every country faces different challenges. There is still a huge gap between the rich and poor in Latin America. Women, in most cases, are disadvantaged in society. At home, they may face violence. So these are all obstacles and hurdles to women's empowerment. We, as the government, have the duty to provide disadvantaged women assistance. That is why, through the movement of women empowerment, we will be able to render assistance and help to women through government-funded programs and government policies. women then have access to the resources they need to develop economically. At the same time, women can enjoy better health and equal rights as a member of society. Most important of all, these efforts can help them to realize their dreams. That is why women empowerment is a powerful tool to help women from different classes, different societies to fulfill their potential. So it is our belief that the government must work proactively to help all women get better jobs. Women, as a result, will be able to lead a rewarding life, thus contributing to the development of their countries. The Republic of Paraguay has over 49% of its population as women. Women make great contributions to our economy, consolidating our economic development. So we are very grateful to your country for helping us to implement a number of programs to help women. In addition, for 65 years, our diplomatic relations have witnessed the mutual benefits that has created for both sides. We are indebted to the Taiwan ICDF, Taiwan MOFA, and all other institutions, private and public, that have taken part in this program and project. Through these efforts, for example, in the area of technical assistance, vocational training, and financial services, we will be able to help more micro, medium, and small-sized enterprises. We are confident that the 17 provinces of our country will benefit tremendously from these programs. With the donation of 1 million NT from you, these small and medium-sized enterprises will be more resilient, providing safer working conditions for their employees. Through vocational training programs, in fact, we have set up many vocational training centers throughout our country. As a result, women can be more employable and competitive in the workplace. There are over 100 such vocational training centers focusing on different skill sets training. For example, food processing, footwear manufacturing. Women have been empowered because they are more employable. We hope we can provide a more conducive environment for women so that they can contribute greater to their families. I think this is a very valuable project. I'm sure that social inequality can be eliminated as a result. Over the years, through international cooperation, we have helped over 100 women entrepreneurs win many international awards. In fact, the office of the First Lady of our country has been working very hard to implement these diverse programs. The First Lady's office is very proactive in creating more opportunities for women in my country. I'm very pleased that we, working with Taiwan, have provided women entrepreneurs from micro enterprises, small and medium-sized enterprises, learn and develop continuously. They are brave and courageous to pursue their dreams. we would like to thank Taiwan for the $5 million donation to help us implement these programs. So I would like to extend my appreciation to you, President Tsai. I hope all the hard work we have carried out will prove to be worthwhile. Overall, we will contribute to harmonious development of our society. This is a shared belief. I think my office and the First Lady's office, as well as all government agencies and private institutions, have worked together to achieve this vision. We will continue to work hard in this direction. I am sure this again says much about how we can do our part to contribute to women empowerment. We have to make sure that women have the opportunities they need and deserve. Thank you again for your hospitality and assistance.
I'm going to do a group photo on the stage. President Abdul Benitez, would you please remain on the stage? Yes, we do appreciate the friendship with our diplomatic allies, like-minded countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. We all would like to exchange ideas and also experiences to make women pursue their dreams and make their dreams come true. Next, for the group photo, we'd like to firstly welcome back once again President Tsai Ing-wen. Would you please also join President Abdul Benitez on the stage? Let's welcome President Tsai again to the stage. We'd also like to welcome First Lady of the Republic of Paraguay, Silvana Lopez Morera de Abdo. Please also join us on the stage. And also, Zhao Xie Joseph Wu, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Republic of China, ROC Taiwan, and Chairman of the International Cooperation and Development Fund, Taiwan ICDF. Would you please also join us on the stage for the group photo? Yes, okay. This is group photo 1. Please look at the cameras in front of you. 3, 2, 1. And one more thumbs up, everyone on the stage. Yes, 3, 2, 1. And President Tsai, President Abdul Benitez, First Lady and Minister Wu, would you please remain on the stage? We are going to do one more photo, and for that, we're going to bring more VIP guests to join you on the stage. If you hear your names, please come to the stage. We'd like to welcome Rosana Maria Briceño, Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children of Belize and Chairperson for Spouses of CARICOM Leaders Actions Network. Please also join us on the stage. Next, we'd like to welcome Julio Cesar Arriola Dalbines, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Paraguay. Please welcome him. Kesa Melissa Peters, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Regional Integration, and the Diaspora, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Let's welcome her. Alexander Yu, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, ROC Taiwan. Let's welcome Vice Minister Yu. Virginia Albert Poyota, Minister for the Public Service, Home Affairs, Labor, and Gender Affairs, St. Lucia. Let's welcome her to the stage. Thank you so much for joining us today. And next, we would like to welcome Luis Alberto Castiglione, Minister of Industry and Commerce, Republic of Paraguay. Please also join us on the stage for the group photo. Lasanian Philip, Junior Minister with responsibility for youth empowerment and social development, gender affairs, aging and disabilities, Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Let's welcome her. Next, we'd like to welcome Fernando Antonio Escalante Arevalo, Vice Minister of Development of Micro, Medium, and Small Enterprises, Ministry of Economy, Republic of Guatemala. Let's also welcome him. And Catherine Taylor, Executive Director, Pan American Development Foundation. Please welcome her to the stage. Tatiana Lara, Presidential Delegate for Women's City Program, Republic of Honduras. Please welcome her. We'd also like to welcome Andrea Claire Bowman, Ambassador St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dean of the Foreign Diplomatic Corps in Taiwan. Please welcome her. And Timothy Shang, Secretary General, International Cooperation and Development Fund, Taiwan ICDF. Would you please also join us on the stage? Yes. These are all our great friends from Latin America and the Caribbean. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a photo together. Please look at the cameras in front of you. All right. 3, 2, 1. And one more, you know what to do. Thumbs up, yes. All right. 3, 2, 1. Please give our VIP guests on the stage another big round of applause. And thank you to President Tsai Ing-wen for joining us today. Due to previous engagement, President Tsai has to leave right now. Thank you so much to President Tsai Ing-wen. 蔡总统另有要功，必须要先行离开。我们掌声谢谢蔡英文总统莅临今天的论坛。Thank you so much to President Tsai, and thank you to all of our distinguished guests on the stage. You may return to your seats. Thank you so much. We thank you to President Tsai again. Her attendance today really shows the support of our government to the development and also empowerment of women in Taiwan, as well as women empowerment in our diplomatic allies in Latin America and the Caribbean. Thank you so much. You may return to your seats right now. Yes. All right. And for years, Taiwan ICDF, International Cooperation and Development Fund, has been sparing no efforts to reaching out its helping hand to our friends and also partners in the world. And currently, it has 151 staff members stationed in different corners of the world, supporting a variety of overseas projects in agriculture, healthcare, education, telecommunication, environmental protection, and SMM. And next, to give you some more details and information, we have a video. Let's have a look. 接下来我们请看国合会的介绍影片。
Decades ago, Taiwan received assistance from other nations and organizations, allowing its economy to really take off when it was still a developing country. To give back to the international community and fulfill its responsibility as a member of it, Taiwan began providing foreign aid in 1959. Efforts started in Vietnam and expanded gradually across the globe. The focus of assistance has changed over the years to meet the challenges of the times. And the organizations and tasks have also changed as Taiwan built itself a professional and solid foundation in foreign aid. The International Cooperation and Development Fund was established in 1996 to effectively integrate Taiwan's foreign aid resources, turning Taiwan's foreign aid efforts more systematic and professional. As Taiwan's official agency for executing foreign aid cooperation, the Taiwan ICDF continues to consolidate its organizational capabilities to meet ever-changing international trends. Taking a project-oriented approach to our work and making effective use of resources maximizes the benefits and sustainability of our projects. The Taiwan ICDF takes the UN Sustainable Development Goals into consideration when implementing its projects. To carry out its mission, the Taiwan ICDF offers a range of assistance that centers on 4 core operations: technical cooperation, humanitarian assistance, lending and investment, and international education and training, as well as other projects that tap into Taiwan's comparative advantages to stimulate greater impacts. In recent years, we have also worked with like-minded international organizations and international NGOs to extend the reach of Taiwan's foreign assistance through humanitarian aid, common funds, and other joint projects. We participate actively in important international arenas to share our achievements with the international community and to demonstrate Taiwan's commitment to its international responsibilities. In the face of international changes and challenges, the Taiwan ICDF will continue its foreign aid projects and be a key platform for local and foreign development partners as we work with the world to lay a more sustainable future path.
Please give Taiwan ICDF a big round of applause. We'll keep doing what we do the best, that is to work very closely with our friends and partners around the world. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, next we're going to take a break, and after break, when we come back, it will be the policy panel discussion moderated by the member of the Legislative Yuan ROC Taiwan, Jingyi Lin, and also joined by the distinguished panelists, including the First Lady Silvana Lopez Morera de Abdo, and also Her Excellency Rosana Mario Briceño, and also Catherine Taylor, Executive Director of Pan American Development Foundation, and Teresa Ye, member of the Executive Yuan Gender Equality Committee, ROC Taiwan. So let's have a break right now. We have refreshments ready in the back and also outside of the conference room. Please help yourselves, and we'll be back by 11:20. We'll be back by 11:20 for the policy panel discussion. Join us later. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a break right now. Thank you.各位贵宾，接下来呢是中场休息的时间。我们在会场的后方以及场外都备有茶点，都欢迎各位贵宾自行取用。等一下11点20分，呢，请您回到会场。回到会场之后呢，我们即将进行的是政策座谈。我们等一下11点20准时回到会场，谢谢。 提醒各位贵宾，政策座谈再过3分钟，再过3分钟之后，即将要正式开始了。那么前面都还有位子哦，都欢迎各位贵宾呢可以往前就坐，谢谢。Ladies and gentlemen, in 3 minutes, we're going to move on to the policy panel discussion. Please take your seats, and we still have seats available in the front. Feel free to sit in the front. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please take your seats? We're about to begin the policy panel discussion. Thank you.
Rosanna 也在了嘛？对。那我请他在下面稍坐一下。来来来。好好 ，OK。哦，OK。那可以了，人回来了。有，好 ，OK。对，没关系，我就直接在台上接他，然后请其他4位下去。好，因为不知道有没有排他。
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now in a policy panel discussion, and we're going to focus on the challenges and prospects for women's socio-economic development in the post-pandemic era, public-private partnership, and international collaboration. And now, our moderator is already on the stage. Please welcome Jingyi Lin, member of the Legislative Yuan, ROC Taiwan. Please give her a big round of applause.
Thank you.
And I will also bring the four panelists to the stage. Please welcome Her Excellency Silvana Lopez Moreira de Abdo, First Lady of the Republic of Paraguay. Would you please join us on the stage? Her Excellency Rosana Maria Briceño, Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children of Belize and Chairperson for Spouses of CARICOM Leaders Actions Network. And Catherine Taylor, Executive Director, Pan American Development Foundation. Please welcome her to the stage. And Teresa Ye, member of the Executive Yuan Gender Equality Committee, ROC Taiwan. Please welcome Professor Ye. And now, over to our moderator, Ms. Lin.
Thank you, and all our distinguished guests. 谢谢在场所有的朋友。好，那今天有同。
Thank you very much for coming. Since there is simultaneous interpreting, I'll be moderating in Mandarin Chinese. It's my pleasure to be here as the moderator of this session. We will talk about challenges and prospects for women's social economic development in the post-pandemic era, focusing on public-private partnerships and international collaboration. We're into the third year of COVID-19. I think the world now is getting ready to face the challenges economically and other fronts. For women especially, there are vulnerable groups. For them, policy participation, on economic participation, usually they are more vulnerable than others. We know that with the impact of pandemic, micro enterprises or SMEs have been the most affected. So with such impact, for women or vulnerable groups among women, how can they further more developments based on the collaboration between the public and the private sectors? And how do we introduce resources more effectively for vulnerable women? That is really important. I believe that the panelists today will be able to share with us different experiences in Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as in Taiwan. I think the MC has just announced the names of all the panelists. Now, once again, our first panelist is Her Excellency Silvana Lopez Moreira de Abdo, First Lady of Paraguay. She used to be a parliamentarian member. Also with us is Her Excellency Rosana Maria Briceño, Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children. She specializes in education, so in fundamental education, in other levels of education, she will have a lot to share. So currently, she is a collaborator or coordinator for special education in her country, and now she's a chairperson for spouses of CARICOM Leaders Actions Network. I believe that we will hear from her how women in Latin America face challenges and opportunities on the economic front and education. Our third panelist, Ms. Catherine Taylor, is the Executive Director of Pan American Development Foundation. She studied business in her education, and now she works with some projects of the WHO, especially some programs for mothers and newly born. She's a co-chair of the PMNCH. Next, I'm happy to have Professor Ye from National Taiwan University with us. She's a member of the Executive Yuan Gender Equality Committee, and she's used to be a member of the Foundation to Promote Women's Rights and Interests. She's a member to many local gender equality committees as well. She used to be the deputy dean in an NTU. So when facing low birth rates or aging society, she will have some of her opinions to share with us as a scholar. Without further ado, I would like to give the floor to First Lady, Her Excellency Silvina Lopez Moreira de Albo. You have the floor.
Muy buenos días. Good morning, distinguished guests. It is a pleasure and honor for me to come back to the Republic of China, Taiwan again, together with my husband, President Abudo. In the year 2018, we came to Taiwan for the first time. We were warmly received. We have been able to work together on many programs that have deep social impact. And we are also in a position to provide more assistance for our citizens. We aim to empower women. We know that disadvantaged women need such assistance and support. That is why we would like to provide even greater support for women and teenagers. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you some of the programs we have launched in Paraguay. These programs have been very instrumental for our country. Napu'ake, that is the name of the program. Basically, it means that's rise together, and that is a very important program for my office. I'm very honored and proud to share with you that based on my observation, women from different backgrounds have received vocational training and found jobs. They are now economically independent and autonomous. We take great pride in helping them by providing them with tools and training so that they can put into practice what they have learned to benefit their families and society. Napu'ake program is collaborative, community-based, focusing on sustainable development. Women empowerment and entrepreneurship are at the core of the program so that women can make greater contributions to their family and society. Their living standard has improved tremendously. I have the pleasure of accompanying President Abudo to visit different parts of our country, and I have noticed how resilient women are. That is why my office wants to provide even greater number of programs to help them so that they need not have other people take care of their children while they go out to receive training, because such training programs are delivered right at their communities. Women are also better aware that through teamwork, they will be able to lead a better life. Empowered women are courageous, they are confident, they are self-sufficient mothers, and they are very positive thinkers too. They are proactive, full of enterprise, rising to challenges that come their way. Through these empowerment programs, we believe we have sowed some seeds in our society for greater gender equality. I am very delighted that at the very beginning, we thought we would help 5,500 families, benefiting 27,500 people. But the outcome way exceeded our expectation. In 2 years of implementation of the program, we have reached more than 100,000 people from the rural areas, in fact, from 74 vulnerable communities. So we have helped our country develop better. Through these programs, we focus on health, food safety, and hygiene. For example, we told women how to use processing machines. We are very grateful to the government of Taiwan for providing such resources. Our women have gained tremendous expertise in soy-based cooking, bakery, clothing, electricity, fish farming, horticultural, and gardening. We also have another program to further improve the empowerment of women by providing microcredits. We have consistently implemented these programs. We hope through interagency collaboration, women will be able to leverage the experience they learned from Taiwan. In addition, we aim to listen to these beneficiary women so that we can keep track of their progress after receiving such training and assistance. To our delight and comfort, thanks to the social media and the introduction of web pages, more women entrepreneurs are created, pursuing opportunities to work with other agencies and organizations. We are here to help women realize their dreams. It is our sincere hope that by promoting these programs, our country, society will thrive and prosper and become more equitable. Drawing on these experiences, we believe if we are willing to change, we will see a better future. Through observation and collaboration, we have created wonderful experiences. Now we are even more confident that by working together, we will help our women lead a better life. Again, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, for the continuous support over the years. As a result, our country has become more independent, resilient. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency First Lady. Next, I would like to welcome Her Excellency Rosanna Maria Briceño. She will share her experience.
Excellencies, government officials, distinguished guests, fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you, discussing women's development in a post-epidemic era. COVID-19 has been devastating, and in 2023, we are still feeling its effects and recovering from them. During the lockdowns, we saw a global increase in domestic violence. unemployment, and inflation. We also experienced the loss of millions of people and a setback in education during school closures. However, the pandemic also provided us with an opportunity to flourish under new and creative business models using the internet and the power of social media. The increase in domestic violence reminded us of the importance of addressing gender-based violence as a violation of human rights, because it's not just a woman's issue, it's a human rights issue. Violence against women and girls is a prevalent problem in many countries, including Belize. To eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls, we must address the root cause, gender inequality, and power dynamics. Sustainable Development Goal 5 reads, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. The best way to achieve this goal is through education. We must work to ensure every child, including children with disabilities, has equal access to an education free of gender bias. Gender equality is a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. Education plays a central role in the empowerment of women. If we train women in a specific trade and teach them about financial literacy, we are educating them. Education leads to self-sufficiency and economic independence. I greatly appreciate the partnership my office formed with Taiwan to award scholarships to 18 children, students from low-income families. These scholarships were given to students who had dropped out of school during COVID and could not afford to go back to school. Nevertheless, we need our men and boys to accompany us on this journey, because we cannot achieve gender equality by excluding men and boys. Our men and boys play a critical role in achieving sustainable change, and together we can break archaic gender norms and stereotypes. Together we can build a society that is based on equity and respect for one another, a society in which everyone has equal rights and access to opportunities. Gender stereotypes hurt everyone. It limits women's and men's capacity to develop their personal abilities, pursue their professional careers, and or make choices about their lives. Involving men is important because it promotes acceptance among other men. Men can call out other men. The pressure society places on people to be what a man or a woman is supposed to be is not fair to anyone. As a community, we have the power to eliminate gender-based violence. In Belize, we have the Spotlight Initiative, a project created in collaboration with the United Nations and the European Union to eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls. This initiative works in association with government agencies and civil society organizations to address gender inequalities and harmful gender norms. With this partnership, our national gender policy has been revised and updated to reflect new and emerging national priorities and incorporate key recommendations from the United Nations Committees on the Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women and the Convention on the Rights of the Child. At a systemic level, we must incorporate gender equality into sectoral policies and programs such as education, health, economic development, and governance. In addition, research and data collection should be strengthened to better understand and assess the situation of women and girls in each country and used to track meaningful progress toward gender equality. COVID-19 has reminded us that we live in an interconnected world where we depend on one another. Therefore, it is important to support each other through partnerships and international collaborations. International and public-private sector partnerships are critical in promoting the sustainable development of women and girls. These partnerships can be leveraged to enhance women's participation, independence, and sustainable development in our nations. In Belize, partnering with the Republic of China, Taiwan has given us the opportunity to provide training, technical assistance, and resources to support the empowerment of women and girls through Taiwan's International Cooperation and Development Fund. We are honored and grateful for this friendship. We have also worked with our local government and civil society organizations to promote gender equality and women's empowerment in our communities, including through programs that address gender-based violence and promote equal access to resources and opportunities. One of our NGO partners is Spouses of CARICOM Leaders Action Network, SCLAN, which was launched to increase efforts and actions on key social determinants of health that negatively influence the development of Caribbean countries, particularly adolescent pregnancy, cervical cancer, HIV/AIDS, gender-based violence, and mental health. SCLAN has participated in and undertaken the execution of various events and projects with an emphasis on strengthening partnerships to advance our objectives. We have highlighted regional issues while continuing to advocate for increased efforts and investment. To address gender equality and help prevent gender-based violence, SCLAN, with support from the Spotlight Initiative and UNDP Country Office Belize, introduced a countrywide project called Engaging Men and Boys. As mentioned in the title, this project seeks to educate boys on the dynamics of gender and violence. The participants have now become enthusiastically involved in reducing gender-based violence in their personal lives and workplaces. Through my work with SCLAN and my office, I have learned that there is a need to increase funding for gender equality initiatives and programs to ensure that they are effective and to provide access to finance and other resources for women-owned businesses, enabling them to grow and create jobs. We must also develop initiatives that promote women's participation in the workforce, including through programs that provide education, training, and mentorship. On a larger scale, we must advocate for policies and regulations that promote gender equality and empower women and girls, including those that support equal pay, access to loans, and equal participation in decision-making. Overall, we must share best practices and lessons learned with each other. Our countries can greatly benefit from sharing experiences. Even though much work has been done toward the advancement of women's rights, we still have a long road ahead of us. The promotion of women's rights remains a challenging task in many parts of the world. Stereotypical beliefs and cultural norms that perpetuate gender inequality and discrimination against women are major obstacles to promoting women's rights. Harmful practices must be stopped, even if they are deemed traditional cultural practices. We must also remember that equality starts at home. At home, families can practice equality by sharing chores with each other, so that the children can learn that cooking, cleaning, and washing are life skills, not gender roles. Girls and boys deserve to fulfill their dreams and pursue higher education equality. Gender-based violence, to end gender-based violence, we need the active engagement of men and boys. We need the support of everyone, public and private sectors, academia, civil society, communities, and families. Everyone must work together to ensure transformative change. We can start by sharing our stories and listening to each other. Yesterday, I had the pleasure to share an initiative with President Tsai Ing-wen that a recent graduate from Ming Chuan University in Taiwan is challenging an initiative called #Don't Tax My Femininity. Her campaign, as a campaign, she has reached out to me to help her advocate for the elimination of taxes on sanitary items in Belize. She states, periods aren't a privilege. Women shouldn't be financially punished for having a period. Sanitary products are not a luxury, but a basic need. We are now both lobbying for the removal of taxes on sanitary products. So, for the next cabinet, the Prime Minister, my husband, will present our letter of advocacy to the cabinet, and we hope that this can be passed and accepted so that for Women's Month in March, our Belizean women will no longer pay taxes on sanitary products. As we continue with our COVID-19 recovery efforts, let's recommit to empowering and elevating women and girls through strengthening partnerships. We cannot move forward without women's participation in society, and we most certainly cannot meet SDG 5 without women. Let's make equality a reality. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you. I think she mentioned a range of partnerships. Indeed, men and women should work together to promote gender equality, not to mention public-private partnership is essential. Our next speaker is Ms. Catherine Taylor. I think we have heard two women leaders from the public sector. Now we would like to hear how women in the private sector or non-profit sector can help empower women. Please, Catherine.
Dosha.
Thank you.
It is a joy and an honor to be here. It's my first time in Taiwan, and it is truly an honor to meet the men and women who have done such extraordinary work for the good of the people of Latin America and the Caribbean. So it is truly a joy. It's also wonderful to be on this panel. I mean, to hear from the First Lady, Silvana Lopez Moreira de Abdo, about the relentless work you have done for the women and families of Paraguay. And to hear from you, your relentless fight for gender equality across the Caribbean. And I can't wait to hear your comments, Dr. Ye. You've been such an expert advocate for women and gender rights. So as I reflected on the role that public-private partnerships can play in advancing women's socioeconomic development and empowerment, you know, I couldn't help but reflect on my own story. I have worked in the private sector, in the public sector, and in the nonprofit sector. And I want to tell you a story. A few years ago, someone said to me, "Oh, you are a tri-sector athlete." And I said, "What's a tri-sector athlete?" And they said, "Well, you know, Harvard Business Review talks about how development challenges are complex and cannot be solved by one sector alone. And so what you need is the expertise of all sectors to try and face these challenges. You know, you need the regulation, the policy making, legislative and executive and judicial power of the public sector. You need the innovation, the creativity, the efficiency that you so often find in the private sector. And you also need the rootedness, the commitment, the sense of mission and passion of the nonprofit sector that itself is very large, spanning non-governmental organizations, often including academia. So as I reflect on our challenge here in Latin America, how do we bring each of these sectors together, who are all represented here in this room today and on this stage, to face some of these really challenging issues? We know that poverty is higher in women than men. We also know that many of our countries in Latin America and the Caribbean have a substantial proportion of the economy is informal. 60, 70% sometimes. So we can't only talk about jobs, we have to talk about livelihoods. Well, when we look at the number of people without income, on average, the rate for women across Latin America and the Caribbean is 2.5 times higher than that of men. And then we're also asked to reflect about the effects of the pandemic. So I agree, the pandemic has had some silver linings, but it's also widened the digital divide. It's created two speeds of development. Those who had digital access were able often to move beyond the terrible impact of the pandemic, the human and economic effect. But those who did not, often women, fell further behind, as did children who couldn't access education remotely. So these challenges are what we are all seeking to overcome. And now, what are the solutions? So you've each charted in your own way a path, because it is a journey. It's not something that can be solved overnight. From surviving to thriving. And on that path, my own organization, the Pan American Development Foundation, we work in all elements of that journey. From surviving through building resilience, through to truly creating development and empowerment so that all people, women, children, families, men, can thrive. We work at the survival stage, as you have pointed out. You know, it's working against gender-based violence. It's working to protect women and children from trafficking in persons. It's supporting migrants and refugees who have been displaced either by autocratic regimes or displaced by natural disasters, which is an increasing issue that we see with climate change leading to greater migration flows. So we work on that, and in order to do that, we have to build resilience. In our partnership with Taiwan, which I'm proud to say is now 10 years, a very auspicious number in this equally auspicious year of the rabbit, our 10-year partnership, we have helped 1.3 million people in Latin America and the Caribbean to become more resilient to natural disasters of various kinds. I mean, in Paraguay today, we're working with 4 different agencies, and with the Taiwan National Space Agency, ICDF, and others, to not only help you upgrade your technology, but to build up better processes so that hundreds of thousands of people can better be protected from different sorts of disasters, such as flooding. It's exciting to be part of that journey of resilience. And it's only possible through the joint actions of the public sector, of the private sector, of international cooperation, and of civil society groups. We also work to promote sustainable livelihoods, which are intrinsically linked with that journey of resilience. Livelihoods for women and men that are sustainable financially, which requires the involvement of the private sector, that are sustainable also environmentally and socially, and therefore need to be in sync with local government policies and with the support that's provided by international actors such as Taiwan, ICDF. And of course, all of this requires, and this is the third part of where the Pan American Development Foundation, PADF, works, is in advancing rights and justice. You know, gender rights, women's rights, access to rights of various kinds, access to justice, as well as, and we'll talk about that in one of the panels in the afternoon, things like access to financing, which are so important. So, I'll close with some thoughts around how it is necessary not only for all sectors to work together for women's socioeconomic development and empowerment, but how it's smart to do it. Because you're not only helping women, women tend to, and it's demonstrated, you've seen the evidence, to support their families and invest in their communities. And so if we can support and do what's right for women and family and communities, well, we're also supporting increased labor force participation, which is better for the economies. And so if we truly want to create, as we do at PADF, a hemisphere of opportunity for all, we need to devote ourselves, and we need to engage all sectors in devoting ourselves to women's socioeconomic development and empowerment, and thus create a world of opportunity for all. So thank you so much for letting me share my views. Gosha.
Thank you.
像我们有 Thank you. I think many of our panelists mentioned that economic empowerment is truly crucial, and that's why Taiwan would like to support LAC in this regard. And this is a long-term effort too. Moving on, Professor Teresa Ye will talk to us about the public-private partnership.
And thank you for your warm and endearing introduction. I prepare a little bit PowerPoint to complement my non-native English speaking, so please bear with me. First of all, I would like to thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Taiwan ICDF for inviting me to participate in this timely, meaningful, and significant event. And I'm going to speak in the capacity of as the Commissioner of the Gender Equality Committee of the Executive Yuan today, although I wear several hats, as all the women in the panel today. Excellencies, colleagues, and partners. I'm going to talk about the challenges and prospects for women in the post-pandemic era. Next, please. And from my academic view and from my work as chairing an NGO in Taipei, I would like to share with you first the challenges and then the prospects and then how Taiwan walks her talks. Thank you. Next. The challenges means numbers tell. Next. With the COVID-19, of course, it threatens women's status in a disproportionate way, especially in the Sustainable Development Goals and our national development. Next. And back in 2019, before the COVID-19, there is a number telling us that we have 100 years away from gender equality. The World Economic Forum report. 3 years later, next please. We are 132 years away from it. The gender equality process was reversed a lot during the pandemic. Next. So what we can do is, with the unemployment rate rising and the shadow pandemic, the violence against women, as Her Excellency just said, we are facing the two-sided blade against women in the world. And as countries around the world, especially in the Latin America and the Caribbean area, Taiwan suffers from this shadow pandemic too. Although we don't have that longer period of lockdown isolation period, so we have lower increase in the violence against women in our country, and which is between 15% to 20%, according to the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare statistics. But this increase will brings a lot of problems to the women in Taiwan. And however, next please. Women spell resilience. In the 3 year in a consecutive sequence, we can see women are on the faces of this yearly report of the Sustainable Development, because we work our way into our problems and we walk out of our problems on our own with the partnership, with the assistance around the world. Next, please. We take care of the needed, we take care of each other, and we take care of the environment in the process. We try to build this enabling environment with the temporary special measures, with the rule of law. We try to amend our laws in Taiwan a lot. On and on, I believe legislator Lin would have first-hand experience to share with us later. And we also focus on culture, because elimination of the gender stereotype which are harmful to the actions and the potentials of women in Taiwan has always been one of the top priorities of gender equality work in Taiwan. Starting from 4 years ago, and then we have a new 4-year plan starting this year. We have this gender stereotyping in our cultural norms as our priority theme. And women also, we want to enhance women's skills and capacities. In Taiwan, we would like to focus on leadership, entrepreneurships, and partnership. Next, please. For leadership, we have 2 Taiwan cases to share with you today. Next, please. How Taiwan does it? We started from gender statistics. We do have the statistics aggregated by sex for a long, long time. But for the past few years, we try to add intersectional factors into our numbers. And thank you to the Gender Equality Division of the Executive Yuan, we successfully added age, area, and ethnic groups and the other factors into the statistics. So from the statistics, we found that in addition to the general numbers, we do have some specific groups of women who suffer from the economic disadvantage and also the social protection lack. And so we commission research to find what we can do with these numbers. And then we have targeted measures and we monitor it. And when we measure our impact of the measures, we try to measure it with who we embrace and what we create and what we include in our methods. Next, please. So our first thing is the female employment market has gradually recovered by the end of 2021. As you see in Taiwan, although we wear masks all the time, but we do have a leather pandemic situation here. And for women aged 45 to 65, that is middle-aged and older women, they tend to have a higher employment rate than their male counterparts, that's middle-aged men and then older men. So we have a public-private project to try to amend the situation. And for indigenous women, their unemployment rate is even higher than average women population in the middle age and older age. Next, please. So for this, next please. For this a specific group of women, we try to develop a project working with 17 counties and cities, and we also have 250 workers for this project, and this project was sponsored by the NGO, local charity society, and also the Ministry of Health and Social Affairs. The objective is to try to increase the economic independence of women of these disadvantaged groups. And also we have reached more than 1,500 women. And because we have a very severe standard of evaluating the success rate, so the number is not very high, but I would like to believe that most of the time care is at the heart of our project. Next, please. And also for our Council of Indigenous Peoples in Taiwan, we collaborate with the American Institute in Taiwan, and we have this Inspiring Women Entrepreneur. Actually, I don't like this English title of the program because the literal translation of the Chinese title of the program is more meaningful. It spells like Lily Blooming Innovation Program. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So I like the Chinese literal translation in English better. And you can see in the screen that is the wild lilies in Taiwan is a specific species in here. And for this program, we try to focus on the indigenous women in rural area, echoing the First Lady's comment earlier. We try to use all the courses and trainings and the long-term accompanying to provide consultation, to provide role models along the way, instead of just give them a training and a one-time deal. Next, please. With this, I would like to say this is our way, the Taiwan way, to use the scientifically produced evidence-based gender perspective into our program. And we also try to collect all the helps we can get across all the sectors. And of course, from the international helps, I believe we achieved a lot in Taiwan. And in the afternoon sessions, you are going to see the specifics in the sectors of technology, education, finance. And I would like to say that I'm very sad that I cannot participate in the 3 parallel sessions at one time next. But I think you may make a very wise choice. And we are women. We are empowered, but we can empower others. Today's talk, today's panel, symbolize that we can do it together. And we can do it together today, and we can do it together tomorrow, in the days to come. We are power. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm so happy that today we talk about resilient empowerment and how to break the stereotype. And during pandemic, in my viewpoint, the more resilient, the more gender equality in the society, you will have much more better resilience to face the challenge from weather, from economic, from the even pandemic. I think that is to push, to encourage gender equality is to make sure the society could progress as a very strong resilience. We will have about 15 minutes to communicate with on the table, and further we will have a Q&A with all our panelists and every our listened. So first, maybe we want to please the ladies to share about, you mentioned about the gender, you mentioned about the education and the families. I think that is truly very important, because how to balance the family support and to make sure the economic development or empowerment. So could you share during pandemic how your programs to help the families to build to make sure their economic safety and ensure that they could to tolerance the challenge during pandemic? Your experience our programs during pandemic.
Well, so far, every decision we have made at my office is aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Through collaboration between the public and private sectors, we have implemented a range of programs. All in all, we want to promote sustainable development. We take into account the environmental needs. In this regard, we have provided a lot of training so that more resources can be devoted to environmental protection. Moreover, we have some very specific programs and projects. Women are the owners of these programs. Now, we do not own or control these programs. Rather, women entrepreneurs are the owners. So I think that's the key to success. They have to be the owner of these programs and projects. Because through collaboration, the government serves as a facilitator. We launch projects to help women.
Job is very important, and that is why today I'm very thank you all of you to share the experience how the government have the leading missions to try to help the women, girls, and even boys. So chairpersons, you mentioned about in your talk, you mentioned about the government have the function to try to, especially in education, and and especially you cooperate with not only in girls but also try to educate the boys and men to participate in the to prevent the violence, and to try to encourage women to participate in economic and education. So in your point, how important about the government in these kind of programs? if government could to become the most important leading positions in this kind of programs?
I believe that for government to play an important role, government needs to lead by example. In Belize, women have always had to struggle for positions, especially when it comes to governmental seats in the constituencies. No man will give up their seat and say, here, take it. So we have to fight for it, meaning we have to start campaigning maybe 3-4 years before them. So I think our government, this new present government, has a plan. It's called Plan Belize. And we are focusing in ensuring that there are more women involved in policy making, making more legislative changes that will support the development of our families and children. When I took this office as the Prime Minister's wife, it was very difficult for me because I felt that all I knew was education. I've been an educator for 34 years. And I said, I only know education. So my husband said to me, well, take that education and put it to work. Because he said to me, there are so many social issues in our country. And if you don't advocate, if you don't open your mouth, all of these issues will be swept under the rug because we have bigger fish to fry. Yes. So I like to cook. So I liked that challenge, and I said, well, we're going to fry some of these social issues. And I became that advocate. And I feel that we have come a long way. We're not there yet. We have a long way to go. But women now are seen as moving up the ladder in Belize. We don't want to take away their spaces. We want to work with them. We want to work together. So as a former principal, I always felt that curriculum development should include, we have the HFLE program from the UNICEF. It's called the Health and Family Life Education Program. It's very basic, but it's a start, where it starts from the preschool to high school, where issues like roles and responsibilities are discussed, gender-based violence, human rights, my right as a child. And that is where it will start, in the classrooms. Children will only give back what they receive. So if they're in a home where there's gender-based violence, there's abuse, there's aggression, that's what they will give out. So I feel that schools are our safety nets. They should be the safest places for our children to be in, where this education starts. And then we're hoping that the next generation will be a much better generation.
Thank you. I think every field is our mission in gender equality. And we want to talk actually about Catherine, about I think you have a very long experience to communicate between private organizations or our society with government or the international society. So in your experience, how to ask the government or the organizations to truly cooperate with the international organizations or private organizations? Because you mentioned about private organizations usually have much more understand what is the real, very important missions, but the budget or regulation usually hold in the government. So in your experience, or maybe you could share better experience with us, let us know how to bargain or how to ask government to cooperate with us.
Easy question. So I'd like to speak about language. And I'm not talking about whether you speak Taiwanese or English or Espanol or Haitian Creole. but the language of development. One language is the Sustainable Development Goals, and it's an important language, but it is mostly a public language. Now, PADF, we track everything we do against the Sustainable Development Goals, and we actually contribute in different ways to every single one of the 17 development goals. Private sector doesn't necessarily speak SDGs. Private sector started, several decades ago. It was the language of corporate social responsibility. Now that has evolved to the language of ESG frameworks, environmental, social, governmental. But there's no single standard for ESG around the world yet. So I think part of what we can do is first understand what is the language that each stakeholder, each interlocutor, whether it's a government agency or an international, like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or a technical agency like ICDF, or a ministry in a given country, such as the Office of the First Lady, or a private sector organization. What is the language that they speak? And translate the challenge we're trying to solve. Because every one of our development challenges has different implications for each of the sectors. Private sector wants to hire capable people. So we need the evidence from academia to help us understand what are the things that work and how can we translate the particular issue we're trying to solve in terms that are meaningful and relevant to that sector's interest, because all of us have an interest. So although I would certainly hope we are all altruistic and want to work for the common good, the reality is we each come toward the common good from our own perspective. And the more we understand each other's perspective, the better we can help solve these challenges together.
Thank you very much. And Professor Ye, I think in Taiwan, we try to build a regulation, a law to make sure gender equality. But I think you mentioned about the most difficult is stereotype. So in your experience or your suggestions, especially after pandemic, how we could try to break the stereotype or to build new norms to achieve what we say the real gender equality?
Wow, this is a very difficult question. I believe everybody in this panel will agree with. I will start with the kind of echo from Catherine's comment earlier. Language is a problem because when we speak of SDGs in Taiwan, a lot of universities and even the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Environment, they all focus on SDGs, yet they don't focus on women's contribution in the SDGs. So we would like to mainstream the women's perspective into it because traditionally they would consider the work is about men's work, the science, the environmental protection. But in Taiwan, we are in a very different situation because we have a lot of women initiate protection of our environment. So maybe in the future, we can use this as a way into the breaking of the cultural norms of what men and women could do with their potentials. I believe this is the first thing we can do. On the other hand, I believe NGOs in our civil society can contribute a lot. For example, NGO's work has many splendid colors, I believe. And we try to persuade the government to pursue SDGs back in the 2016. And we try to initiate all kinds of energy-saving devices in the households in Taiwan. Yet women tend to be the backbones of this movement. And I hope that our government will see the importance of women's groups in all these efforts. These efforts not only for the women's rights or women's benefits, it's for, like Her Excellency just said, it's for the good of everyone, right? So it's not for women's position or status, it's for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. I really very agree about the language. It means you need to communicate with different targets to let them understand why we need to cooperate to achieve the gender equality in our society. So we will have 20 minutes for Q&A. So please, anyone want to echo or you will have questions about our panelists, if anyone.
Yes, feel free to raise your questions in Chinese or in English or in Spanish. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, please.
And also let us know who you are before you ask question. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much, panelists. It was very informative and insightful. My name is Iseline Phillip. I am a junior minister from St. Kitts and Nevis for the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs, as well as Youth Empowerment, Aging and Disabilities. So my question, I guess, is a little bit targeted, I guess, to Ms. Taylor, Catherine. In the context of COVID-19 and the post-pandemic era, I think one of the challenges that we find in small island state of St. Kitts and Nevis, so just some information for everyone. St. Kitts and Nevis is a twin island federation. We have a population of about 50,000 people. And one of the challenges we find in terms of partnerships is that oftentimes in the post-pandemic era, there is a strap for cash and budget in order to be able to fund programming that we may need as part of government support, as well as also for our NGOs and our CSOs, civil society organizations. And so because of that reality, where business sponsorship used to be a bit more forthcoming pre-COVID, and now at a time where it is less so because of the reality of just having less inflows of cash and the looming threat of a recession, how do we then facilitate or encourage or stay optimistic, or how do we solve the problem of waning willingness to partner for programs in light of the seriousness and the dire need for what we need right now? So that is my question in terms of how we can move around those challenges now in the post-pandemic era.
Thank you.
So I don't think these are issues only faced by St. Kitts and Nevis, Iseline. I think these are challenges faced by virtually every country in Latin America and the Caribbean. So I think your question had several parts to it. Now, one, you used the word hope. So let's start with our own internal belief in the possibilities and the power of women to help figure out solutions. Because I truly believe that empowerment starts from within. And particularly those of us who have been blessed, as I have been, I am blessed with good education, with food, especially in Taiwan, so much delicious food, with resources. We who are blessed, and those of us on this panel are blessed, I think everyone in this room, how do we bring that hope? How do we bring that inner drive that, yes, it's possible. Maybe we don't have the solution yet, but we have the hope and the possibility. That is something I absolutely believe in. And it's one of the things I love about Taiwan, even though it's my first time, I sense that. The hard work, the persistence, the grit, the belief in the future, in the possibilities. So let's not lose sight of that, because with that firm internal belief, we can, with that faith, we can move mountains. 2, I think you're talking about sustainable development and how do we finance it, right? Now, if you look globally at overseas development assistance, it's roughly, on average, globally, $170 billion. And it's probably not going to go up, total. When the SDGs came out, there was a slogan, if you will, that we need to move from billions to trillions. Because no matter the fact that $170 billion US dollars sounds like a lot of money, and it is small compared to the nature of the challenges that are being faced, which is why the topic of this panel, we can't do it. Government cannot do it alone. Development agencies cannot do it alone. We really need all the sectors. You know, nonprofit sector may not have money, but that passion, that commitment, that people power is vital. The private sector, you know, may not want to devote a lot of financial resources, but they have so many other types of capital, knowledge, innovation, creativity to bring to the table to try to find win-win solutions. Governments may be strapped because, again, I think there isn't a government on this planet that doesn't say, I don't have enough resources for the challenges I'm facing, and if only. So I guess what I'm saying is that although the nature of the challenges, especially after this terrible pandemic, seems unsurmountable, that I truly believe if we focus in on the specific things that we can attack, like Rosanna, you know education, you like to cook, fry up the problem. Yeah. Let's start with one problem, one challenge, and work on that, and then go on to the next one. And then from those early wins and successes, build up the momentum for more. But I don't know if any of the other panelists would like to add some thoughts. Thank you.
If any panelists want to share your viewpoint about these questions. Okay. So next questions. Yeah, please. The green coat lady.
Virginia Albert Poyot, Minister for the Public Service, Home Affairs, Labor and Gender Affairs from St. Lucia. I want to add quickly to the discussion from the panelists, and I think I want to follow from the last contributor from our panelists from Pan American. And what I wanted the panelists to elaborate on would be, what were the benefits of COVID-19? Because many times we talk about the negatives, but we tend to lose sight of the benefits. And I may just want to highlight just a few, because one of the things that COVID-19 taught us is to have improved hygienic practices. And that was almost like a no-no before, but COVID has forced us to engage in practices that we thought we had taken for granted. COVID-19, we consider it as a reversal for gender equality, where we have lost about 20 years of progress we made in the past. But I think we should also look at it as 30 years progress because COVID-19 has forced us to advance the use of technology. And I can speak to that from my small country, St. Lucia in the Caribbean, that during the COVID-19 period, the educators were lost. They did not have the tools to teach the children virtually. And my government has actually decided to invest heavily in technology by providing students with computer, internet connection to vulnerable and needy families. So that has forced governments to change their direction because of this experience. So if we use the technology correctly, we are going to accelerate the equality issues between men and women, because for decades we have been fighting for gender equality, and we find that we are not getting very far as quickly as we would like. But having gone through COVID, a lot of men and women realize that there are bigger challenges out there, and therefore if we capitalize on this, we are going to have greater collaboration between men and women in advancing development. And I think it will bring out a lot of creativity and innovation in what we do and for women. And there will be greater investment in the advancement of women, because we realize that women were able to play a critical role in combating COVID. And I think when we leave this conference here, we should really look at the benefits that COVID, it has really brought in reality to a lot of governments and people who had taken things for granted. So if you could elaborate maybe and add a few more, it would enrich the discussion in terms of what were the benefits of COVID-19 to our whole economic, social, and cultural and educational development.
Thank you. I think that is really very important. The challenge sometimes could give us opportunity. So if any experience or any viewpoint about how your government or how our society build new the opportunity to achieve gender equality or help women after pandemic. If anyone want to share.
Definitivamente.
We know that the COVID-19 has hit families worldwide. Moreover, it is important that we note that different strategies implemented in different countries help disadvantaged groups. In my country, we have launched a number of social policies to help women in different regions, as well as their families. In August 2020, we provided training programs so that women can learn virtually, accessing more information. They did not need to leave home. They could still have ready access to information and education to hone up on their skills. So we work closely with many families, because many families could not leave home because of the lockdown restrictions. However, because of the virtual learning or e-learning programs, these families were able to build on their skills. As a result, many of them decided to start their own businesses. So I think that is an outcome we have seen from our programs. On the other hand, we know that the COVID-19 has hit the vulnerable groups the most. Paraguay is one of the few countries to have successfully helped disadvantaged groups through these programs. With these efforts, we help these families to be positive in the face of the challenges. So I believe with passion, dedication, and support from the government, we can see concrete results. Sometimes we need to change. The change needs to take place at home, helping our children to be more competitive with new and innovative educational approaches. Our children, mothers, can be great contributors to promote changes in our society. And this is how we can continue to learn under the pandemic. The COVID-19 will be gone one day, but the experience and learning we have achieved during this period will be our greatest asset. Thank you.
Rosalia?
In Belize, I think one of the biggest things that COVID brought to light and to the table is the issue of mental health. Mental health has always been considered taboo. Nobody talks about it. It reminds me of that song with the new Encanto movie. Nobody talks about Bruno, right? Nobody talks about mental health issues, and COVID was able to bring that to the table to make it real. So our governments had to find ways of helping our young people. My office was very much involved when parents would start to call me as a former educator. They need help. Young people were having mental crisis, being locked down for so long. They lost socialization skills. They had a hard time when they had to go back to school. They were so comfortable in their little caves, their little holes. They had such a difficult time getting back into reality. So our government had to deal with that issue, and now we're looking at getting more assistance for our counselors, the very limited counselors that we have. We obviously know that we have enough lawyers. We don't need any more lawyers in Belize. We need more counselors. We need more people to help treat our Belizeans, our young people that are struggling with mental health issues. Another thing that definitely COVID was a positive, I believe, is, and I want to agree with the lady from, St. Lucia. It's yes, education became relevant. Education had to be virtual. It definitely brought education to the home. Yes, it was very challenging for our educators, our teachers, but I think it starts from the top. As a principal, if we are negative about learning new ways of teaching and learning, it trickles down to our staff. So if we are positive about it and we take it as a challenge, it becomes easier for your staff to accept, and that is what we found in Belize. I think one of the best things that came out after COVID was the whole revamping and re-evaluation of our curriculum. We realized our curriculum was concept-based. You either learn it or you didn't learn it. And we had these examinations that our students had to take before they could go into high school. If they passed, then they go to high school. So we realized that a lot of teachers were teaching to the test, to an exam. So I know our government has totally revamped our curriculum and has a new framework based on competency-based teaching and learning, where assessments now are more of application than just giving back facts on memorization. So I believe that COVID did bring positive things to us in Belize, in our little country, and we're very proud of that. So now, let's see, I'm not hoping for another pandemic of any other sort, but I think if another one hits us, I think we're more than ready. The world is more than ready.
So if I may add to those comments, for me, one of the benefits, Minister, is it's been a paradigm shift in at least 2 levels. So if I take the example of Dr. Ye, who self-analyzed, and I look at our own organization, what are the benefits that emerged from having to face the challenges of the pandemic? One is technology writ large. It's not just moving to the digital space, but truly understanding the capacity of different existing and emerging technologies to transform how we do things. And that's making us ask questions that we were asking before, but we're asking them a lot faster and a lot more profoundly now. Not just in terms of ourselves as an organization, but how can we do what we do better to serve more people more cost effectively, to work with more people more broadly in easier to replicate manner. So that paradigm shift, I think, has accelerated a trend that we had seen, but that has really taken on greater momentum. The second one is environmental. We had started a few years ago to measure our own carbon footprint. We were one of the first very forward-leaning, non-specifically environmental NGOs based in the United States to do that, and realized that the pandemic had beneficial carbon footprint impact in terms of the reduction, for instance, in airplane travel, et cetera. Economic consequences were terrible, but it's causing us to rethink, when is it important and vital to invest in being there in person? Because, parenthesis, most cultures in Latin America and the Caribbean love to be together in person. And so, but forcing us to ask the question, when is it most important? And when are we able to leverage remote and asynchronous and technological solutions to be able to leverage our scarce resources more effectively, to reach more people, to do more? So I think those paradigm shifts are really important and positive outcomes of what was a terrible pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Ye, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, my last comment would like to add to the previous panelists' opinions. I certainly agree with all what you have said. And from my observation of what our government has done in the past for the COVID-19, I realize our government, just like the Minister of the St. Lucia just said, we invest a lot in the rural areas to facilitate their learning through the technology-mediated devices. But however, in terms of entrepreneurship, knowing how to use your handheld device, like your mobile phone, to take photos, to shop, it doesn't mean that you can do business with it. So that changed our program in women's entrepreneurship. We try to move the marketing from the person-to-person level to more like the online level. And also in our educational sector, as well as in the civil society sector, we try to mobilize more people to engage in education on the online security, how to observe what's happening around us online in the virtual context to protect themselves, because we know a lot of perpetrators are still moving into the online environment too. And last but not least, I would like to use my classroom experience as an example. my woman students tend to participate more when they are alone in front of the screen, compared to their physical presence in the room. And they tend to raise their hands, like push the little button on the screen much more than they were physically in the room. I believe this is something very positive out of the pandemic period that we have been through. Yet, my students, they all want to come back into the room again. I believe Taiwanese are very close to our Caribbean and Latin American countries. We like person-to-person interaction, and the cultural norms regarding what women and men could do are still there. So technology is something to help us to reach more people, to serve more people. But sometimes we just long for the in-person meetings and eatings and sharing and smiling.
Thank you. Sorry about the time limit. We will close this panel. And I think to achieve gender equality, we need programs, budget, government, private sector, but also we need activators, leaders, role models, partners. I think thank you for our panelists. I think all we are partners and all you are role models. Thank you.
Put your hands together for the panel for giving us such a wonderful, wonderful discussion. Would you please stand up so that we can have a photo of all of you on the stage? Yes? Please stand in the center of the stage. Thank you so much once again for your valuable input in this session. Let's have a photo together on the stage. Thank you. All right, let's look at the camera in front of you. Yes, 3, 2, 1. And I know that the First Lady has got everybody on the stage a little something. Yes, the project's t-shirt. Okay, so can we bring the t-shirts to the stage so that everybody can hold the t-shirt and let's have another photo. Yeah, that's the First Lady's, the project that she's promoting. And we have the t-shirt for everyone here on the stage. Yeah. So that we can hold the t-shirt and have another photo. All right? Okay, show us the t-shirt and let's have another photo on the stage. Yes. All right, everybody, let's give our panelists and moderator on the stage another big round of applause. Thank you so much, and that's it for this morning session. Thank you once again for your participation. It's time for lunch. We have lunch boxes ready outside. Would you please help yourselves? And we'll need you to take your belongings and your bags with you because we're going to rearrange the tables and chairs in this room. Yes, we're going to break down this ballroom into two smaller rooms for the parallel sessions this afternoon. So everybody, take your bags, take your belongings, and please enjoy your lunch. We have a conference room available on the 3rd floor for you. So take your lunch outside and go to the 3rd floor. We have a room there. Thank you once again for your participation. And for the parallel sessions this afternoon, we will have the education one on the 3rd floor and 2 other ones on technology and finance here on the 1st floor. And the parallel sessions will begin at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Thank you again for your participation this morning. Enjoy your lunch. We'll see you later. 那么现场的贵宾，不好意思，要请您带着随身物品先离开这个1楼的大厅哦。我们的工作人员呢，要重新的整理1楼的场地。那请各位贵宾带着您的随身物品。那我们场外呢。